Good evening.
Hi, it's Tasty Tuesday with
Claire and Dave.
And here's what we're going to do for you tonight.
We are making one of the treats that I love for Christmas, and I grew up on a version of this, so I'm going to make that for you.
And I'm going to make something that, I don't know, it's cold outside, so I'm going to make a hot toddy. A chamomile hot toddy.
All right. So I'm already getting started, and I'm just adding a teaspoon of vanilla. You can hear that bubbling. And in here, oh, that smells so good. In here, I have 3/4 cup of some butter and 3/4 cup of brown sugar. And I am just mixing this up. It's on a medium heat. We want to keep stirring it for about 4 minutes. And while that's happening, we are going to chop up some nuts. So these are just some nuts that I had. This one is a combination of almonds, pecans, pistachios, blah, and you can use whatever kind of nut that you would like. So I'm just going to take the food chopper, and we don't need to pulverize, but we do want to make these into smaller chunks. Doing that. So we're kind of making a caramel.
Yes.
And you could do that in the blender also, or we're just doing it on the side. All right. So I have these chopped, and I do like to use the food chopper and not the manual food processor when I'm doing nuts. I just seem to have a better result. So I'm going to take a pan and I'm going to line it with some graham crackers. You can also do this with saltine crackers, and that's kind of what I grew up on. I was actually looking for the recipe from my grandma that is very similar to this. So we just had this many graham crackers. You know, we had a big party here a week ago.
Yeah.
So we're kind of using up some of the things that we had. So these are lining that pan. And then we are going to go ahead and take these nuts. That's about 4 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm. You can turn it off or no?
Yep, that'd be great. And we're done with the whisk. And I'm just going to add the nuts right into this pan. And we're going to mix them in. I don't know if you can see that. So yummy. This actually is a recipe that Pampered Chef came out with a couple years ago, and they called it Tempting Toffee Crisps, and we could never get enough of this. All right, so now we're just going to take this and pour it over the top, and this is going to go into a 350-degree oven for about 10 minutes. And we're just going to spread this over the top evenly, and then let it harden up a little bit in the oven. And it's going to soak into the crackers and make these really into a great, almost like a bar. Let's see if I can push this over to the side. And if I was doing this for our family, I think I would do this in our half sheet pan and do one massive pan at one time. Okay, so I'm going to tuck this into the oven. So once again, it's 3/4 cup of brown sugar, 3/4 cup of butter. You don't want to use margarine or oleo, as my mom and grandma would say. And then just a teaspoon of vanilla. And then we're using half a cup of nuts, chopped nuts. Okay, that's it. I'm putting it in, and then we'll finish it up.
Okay, I am going to make a hot toddy. It's a chamomile hot toddy for tonight. It calls for a syrup, and it's a syrup that you can make. It's a chamomile honey syrup. And since I'm making two, I'm doubling my recipe. So I'm going to take a half a cup of honey. And this is the honey that is from our friends over in Deerfield, Keyville's. And to that, since I couldn't find any dry chamomile anywhere, so I bought some chamomile tea and I made some tea out of it. Boy, could I get a scraper, honey, do you think? I want to get all this honey out that I possibly can. All right.
Baking Spirits Bright.
Baking Spirits Bright. What fun it is
to
laugh
cook,
and
cook,
sing.
to cook with your wife.
To cook with Claire. Wow. So I made this tea. Well, it's very strong tea. It's a chamomile tea. This only is a 1/4 cup of water in here, so it's going to be kind of strong, but it's supposed to be that way. So I'm just going to add this water tea mixture to this honey, and then I am going to stir it up, get it mixed together pretty nice and well here, kind of. Claire, can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you come over here and can you squeeze my lemon for me, so to speak?
Happy to.
I just need just an ounce of fresh lemon juice while this is being stirred. Ounce
Okay.
is right here. Are you
It's
new to
right
these? Are you new to these tools
I
or
want
what?
to see.
Okay.
So an ounce is about 2 tablespoons. You're sassy. He's sassy
Oh,
tonight.
stop already.
Listen to that.
Well, it's the cold weather that
Somebody
does
this
this.
weekend said, "Oh, you guys are so cute. You get along so well."
Oh, grief. I'm not throwing you under the bus or anything. Am I getting close? Did I have enough lemon there? We'll just use what you have, because I cut some garnishes out of there, so that'll be...
That is exactly.
Look at you.
Exactly.
Exactly,
Because that's what I do. I measure, right? Right, Lynn? I measure everything.
This is an anomaly here. Okay, I've got my chamomile honey mixture all mixed up. Now, I'm going to take a couple of mugs, and first thing I want to add is some bourbon. You may like bourbon, you may not like bourbon. You could use brandy, I suppose, if you wanted to. Each of these calls for 1.5 ounces of bourbon. I'm going to do 1.5 ounces of mine, and I'm only going to do 1 ounce for Claire. She's not a big bourbon fan. Or do you want the whole thing, Claire? No? All right, I'll just make it a light one for you. Okay, and then to that, we are going to add half of our lemon juice. So I'm going to have to add, try to just divide it up. Oh, I did that pretty well, actually. Lemon juice, lemon juice, lemon juice. Okay, and then I'm going to add half of this honey chamomile mixture into here. I hope I can do this without spilling all over the place, Claire. Say that's about half. I'm gonna say that's about half. A little more there. Okay, and then all you do then is you top it off with some hot water. And I happen to have some hot water right here in our microwave. Chamomile. It's a herb that is good for. It helps with cold remedies. It can help with diabetes, all kinds of different things. So I went to a herbal website to look it up. That herbal website called Google. And sorry, yours looks a little weak. You don't have enough alcohol in it.
That's okay.
It's okay. All right, you can garnish it up with a little lemon wedge. And you have
with sleeping too, right?
And with sleeping as well. Yep. A chamomile honey hot toddy.
Cheers.
I feel better already.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I really like this.
Do you?
Yeah, I should have.
Do you need
one
more bourbon
every
or no?
night before I go to bed.
Okay. So there you go.
Thank you.
Don't drink it all because we have to take pictures.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
All right.
All right. What else you got going on here, Claire? Are you melting your chocolate?
I am. So
Okay.
I am melting a cup of chocolate in the microwave. So you want to do about 30 seconds at a time. And I love to take the silicone pretzels. And the reason I do is chocolate doesn't burn as easily as it does when you are doing it in glass. And once you burn your chocolate, it's really hard to turn back. You don't necessarily have to melt this, but we're on live TV, so we are speeding things up. So our recipe is going to come out of the oven. I should have you do this.
I can.
Okay?
Yep.
So that was a really fast 10 minutes.
Was it 10 minutes?
Pretty close.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me move the camera for you.
All right. So that has been in the oven and it looks really good, just like it is right now. And what you can do is you can sprinkle your chocolate chips over the top. So if you wanted to not melt them, it would be very, very easy just to sprinkle these over and let them get nice and melted. But like I said, we are speeding things along. And so all we're doing is putting it over the top, and we are going to spread until that whole top is covered with chocolate. So sometimes just using a really good brand like Ghirardelli, you know, this is where maybe you can spend a little bit more just to get that extra flavor than you would from something else. And I love milk chocolate, so whenever something calls for chocolate, I'm usually the milk chocolate person, and instead of doing something else. So we're just putting this over, and then all we're going to do is decorate the top. So if you don't want any extra nuts, maybe you want to use sprinkles, and you can put those on top. Or you can take some slivered almonds and you can sprinkle those on top. And what you want to do is you want to let this harden, and then you want to put it into the refrigerator and just let it completely harden up, and then you're going to cut it. And then you want to put it into an airtight container so your graham crackers do not get mushy. And this is going to be such a fantastic, delicious treat that you can have during the holidays. I love having something like this just to grab and munch on. So good, so delicious. So if you have any treats like this that you want to share with us, make sure you put them on this page, because I would love to hear some of your favorite recipes that you like to make during the holidays. What are some of your traditions? So there you go. We have our tempting toffee crisps right here.
And our chamomile hot toddy.
So it looks like a pretty good supper tonight, doesn't it? We'll see you next week. Thanks
Bye.
for joining us.
Stay warm.